or in today's world, some of the influencers look even better than Arnold did, it doesn't make sense. It's very fishy, something is up, you're probably pinning something in your bottom. What's going on YouTube, it's Jason, and in this video, we are going to be speaking about gear, or steroids. For a long time in the fitness industry, we've seen our favorite fitness influencers rock these unattainable physiques, crazy amounts of muscle mass and single-digit body fat all year round, and yet still insist that they've never taken anything. In this video, I'm going to show you how to cut through the lies according to science so that you can tell whether or not they're telling the truth. Now, before we start, I won't be mentioning any names specifically because there is no point. These guys are making millions of pounds per year, and it's not in their best interest to come out and tell you whether or not they're on gear. They've got contracts with supplement companies, they're selling their programs, their blueprints for how they got in shape. They know that if they come out and tell the truth, their empire will crumble overnight. Look what happened to Liver King. So there's no point me pointing fingers and making accusations. They're not really going to go anywhere. They're not going to admit it. What you should be able to do by the end of this video is look at the things that I say and be able to apply it for yourself. So there are many ways to tell whether or not someone is on steroids, but what I'm going to do is go through the 5 telltale signs that pretty much guarantee that someone has taken something at some point. Number 1 is blood test results. There's been this trend of late amongst influencers where they publish their blood test results and they show lower than normal testosterone levels. And a lot of them try and fool their audiences and say, this shows that I'm natural and I'm not on testosterone. But let's stop and think. If someone is rocking a 1% physique, like loads of muscle mass, shredded, and they're decently strong, how on earth do they get that physique if their testosterone is lower than normal? It doesn't make sense. If you go to a TRT clinic and you see some of the older men, typically, that have low testosterone, they are typically fat, out of shape, they have a low amount of muscle mass, probably receding hairlines, and probably look quite tired because they're probably struggling with their sleep and energy levels. They definitely do not look like a typical Greek god influencer that we see on Instagram. So yeah, low testosterone levels for a normal average Joe is probably realistic, but they will look like they have low testosterone. You won't be rocking a 1% physique with low testosterone because you need high testosterone to build that sort of physique. Number 2 is by calculating their fat-free mass index, or FFMI. It's commonly accepted across the fitness industry that an FFMI above 25 is very, very suspicious for a natural athlete. I learned this from the consultant at my DEXA scan. And what is my lean mass index? What's that?
So that's this one here.
Oh,
okay, so
so in
the 80th percent, 21.1. Okay, so muscle for height and fat for height.
And if I remember, 25 and over is questionable for a natural. So
yeah, very questionable.
Now, I've put in the results of some of our favorite influencers, and I'm going to be frank, it doesn't look great. What I'm going to do is put a link in the description below with a calculator. All you need to do is put in their height, their weight, and their rough body fat percentage, which, to be frank, is typically under 10%, somewhere between like 6 and 9%, and you will see the numbers that spit out. Most of the guys that are crushing it in the fitness industry have FFMIs well above 26. Have a look for yourself. Telltale sign number 3, muscle fullness and a pump 24/7. Let me be clear, as a natural, you can be lean and you can go to the gym and achieve a crazy pump. You can be full during the session and immediately afterwards. But once that pump wears off, let's say 1 to 2 hours max, you go back to a look that is flat. A lot of natural bodybuilders complain about this. There is nothing really you can do to change it because you've reduced your calories and carbs, there's no glycogen in your muscles, and so your muscles seemingly shrink. When you see your favorite fitness influencer always look pumped and full and vascular and have veins running through their arms constantly, it's not normal. So if you see someone rocking that kind of physique year round, it is very, very suspicious. Those who have been shredded naturally will know. If you've never been shredded naturally, do it once and see how you look in clothes. You will know exactly what I'm talking about. Number 4 is the proportions of the current fitness influencers next to elite bodybuilders that are smashing gear. I always say Arnold Schwarzenegger had elite genetics. Him and a lot of the bodybuilders in the golden era had some of the best genetics of all time. And pretty much all of them, if not all of them, were taking steroids, like smashing steroids. And so when you look at today's influencers and they have the same proportions, 18, 19 inch arms, 45 to 50 inch chests, waists that are 34 inches and below, and they claim they're taking nothing, oh, it's just genetics, it doesn't add up. Like, fair enough, if you have someone taking steroids who hasn't got great genetics versus someone who's got great genetics, the person with great genetics can look better than the steroid user. I've seen it before in many gyms all across the world. But if you have 1% genetics smashing gear, and then 1% of genetics apparently natural looking the same, or in today's world, some of the influencers look even better than Arnold did, it doesn't make sense. It's very fishy, something is up, you're probably pinning something in your bottom. And the final way to tell whether someone is more than likely taking gear is how drastically their physique changes. Now, I've realized a lot of fitness influencers, in a bid to be transparent again, say like, oh yeah, look at my physique, this is when I lost muscle, when I gained body fat, I stopped training for a bit, or I was away from the gym. They'll spin you some sort of sob story. But once you've built muscle naturally over like 5, 10, 15 years, believe you and me, your muscle doesn't just go like that overnight. If someone loses a significant amount of muscle and gains body fat, that's pretty much a telltale sign that some sort of PED has been involved. Muscle is built over time and it takes just as long to kind of leave your body. You don't shrink overnight if it's genuine muscle. Also, on the back of that, if someone has been training consistently for 5 years, training, nutrition, sleep, they would be what's considered an advanced trainee, and they would have gained the majority of the muscle that they'll probably ever gain. If that person is packing on loads of muscle on their physique and you can see it visibly, it doesn't make sense. You can't continue building at a rapid rate. You can probably gain muscle, maybe like 2 to 3 pounds of muscle a year max, once you've gone past 5 years of solid and consistent training. Again, there'll be outliers according to genetics, but as a rule of thumb, this is a pretty good ballpark. So yeah, they are the ways to tell whether or not someone is on steroids. They're not guarantees, I'm not their doctor, I can't say 100%, but if someone is satisfying more than one of these things, I wouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt. They're probably on something, or they've probably taken something in the past. But yeah, those are the tools that you need to spot the fake natties across the board. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Don't forget to like it if you did. Subscribe to my channel to follow me on this journey, and I'll see you again soon.